some bad news. I knew it. I love when he does that.
Well, once you hit rock bottom, the only way to go is up. So good luck. Okay, good luck.
You say rock bottom, but like, it just seems like things keep getting worse. What is rock bottom? Who decides what's the bottom of all this? I mean, seriously, you go, okay, today is Friday, and I woke up in Cleveland, and I'm going, how much worse can it get?
Don't count me down, you piece of shit. Shut your mouth. Look at me, Tony. Look at me. I want you to fire me. You fucking mark. Fire me. Fire me. How you think they gonna feel when they introduce your boys as the new WWE Undisputed Tag Team Champions? I don't know, Ooze. They might be cheering. Yeah. They might be booing. Yeah. Little kids might be crying. Oh, yeah. We got grown men out there crying. Yeah. But they still might be hating on the Uso. Hating on us. Why? Because we went out there and did what we said we was going to do. Yeah.
Buffalo, all your babbling is interfering with my machine. So for the next few minutes, please just do me a favor and kindly shoot.
I do want to ask, because you're uniquely qualified to have this conversation, running a wrestling company that is largely a television product. I mean, they don't run house shows, and you were kind of the king of wrestling on TV for one of the hottest periods in wrestling history. And people want to debate that now. It's silly. Like those are facts. But I wonder if we could set aside the hurt emotions and take a pragmatic look at the company with all the information you have. Because again, we don't have all the information, but just with what you have knowledge of or heard about, do you have any advice that you could give, Tony? Like
no.
No advice?
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, because it would come off as criticism, by the AEW social media fan base would take whatever I say and spin it and turn it. And, so why? He's certainly not listening to too many people, based on what I'm seeing at least.
Right.
Maybe he is. Maybe he's listening to too many people, and that's why we're seeing what we're seeing. But I think Tony has. Oh shit! Here we go. Quit trying to get yourself over, Tony. You're not good on television. The less you see a red light in a camera, the better your product will be.
He's not on TV. He hasn't been on TV.
He's. And I'm not talking about in the ring in matches. I'm talking about in every media scrum.
I see. Just the visibility reduces.
Putting himself. Have you ever seen a media scrum with one of the stars in the AEW that Tony isn't a part of? No. And look, I get it. Tony's an executive. He's the executive in the He's the what is he? He's the CEO, head booker, head whatever he is. He's got about 6 titles. So, yeah, he's an important person. But this is not about you, Tony. It's about your talent. And the more you're trying to get you over, the less your talent's getting over. And I'm talking about even in the ancillary promotion of your business. Tony Khan does not need to be tweeting 15 times a day. Less is more, Tony. Make people want to hear from you, not turn away every time they do because they see you way too often. And in situations that isn't good for you or your company. I know that AEW and the fans of AEW and some of the talent they did, and by the way, talent that's, their opinions are their opinions, but you need real storylines, Tony. Not what the AEW audience accepts for a storyline, which is really nothing more than an excuse to have a match. That's not a storyline. There's no emotion in that. There's nothing episodic in that. And I think it's hard. I'm going to admit something here. I can't watch an entire episode of AEW. I will drop in because I'm hopeful. I want to see something I haven't seen before. I want some kind of indication that something really cool is going to happen. But everything that I see tells me that these are not stories drafted or created or executed by people that really know a lot about storytelling. These are indie-based wrestling angles. And I just don't think that's going to work. I really think if I was Tony Khan right now, especially with the resources Tony had, I would find a way to bring somebody in, a Bryan Gewirtz type, somebody that really understands the structure of importance of a great story and can bring out the best in talent with a great story and bring out the most emotion from the audience with great story. That's what Tony needs. This dirt sheet Booker of the Year bullshit that's just now going to be part of, I guess, TV next week is just not going to get it. And hey, if Tony's happy with his company the way it is right now and Turner's happy with it, and then fuck, don't change the thing. Just keep doing what you're doing. But if the goal is to grow the company and to be, I don't want to say legitimately competitive with WWE because this isn't going to happen for a long time. WWE's got too much of a head start. It's going to take forever. But you can still do things that positions your company to be at least subjectively creative or subjectively competitive on television, right? And it's not. It's just not. So please, Tony, if this gets to you in any way, shape, or form, I know Bryan Gewirtz isn't available, but there are people like Bryan out there. And rather than hiring the next bright, shiny object that falls off the WWE tree and creating a huge surprise and getting everybody all excited only to put them on the shelf and not see them again for 6 months, rather than doing that, find your Bryan Gewirtz, because they're out there. And they can really help you if you listen to them and if you let them. That'd be my only advice.
Hello, ladies and germs. Welcome to episode 325 of the Hoots podcast. It's September 1st, 2022. Only reason why I know it's September 1st is because I paid my freaking rent this morning. How's it going, everybody? It's your boy Joshie. You can follow me on Twitter at the Hoots podcast. Make sure to hit me up at Instagram if you'd like at Josh Lopez Media. I have ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com, which is my website where I make transcripts for a living for all your favorite wrestling shows. It's a lot of wrestling. Maybe a little bit too much wrestling. You never know. Hope you guys are having a good week. And thank you so much for giving the show another chance. I really do appreciate the support. The road to 500 episodes continues. So we're keeping up on that grind. And I appreciate each and every single one of you taking time to either watch the videos or listen to the podcast. It means a lot to myself and Derek. And if you ever have any questions for the Hoots podcast, if you want to follow us on Twitter, make sure to hit us up at the Hoots podcast and let us know that you enjoyed this podcast for what it is. It comes to you free of charge every single Thursday, anywhere you get a podcast from. And on YouTube, just type in Hoots podcast and it comes to you right in front of your face. Hope you guys like the new logo, by the way. I worked on that a couple of weekends ago, and I kind of dig the new vibe of it, to be honest with you. We got a brand new show today, which should be very, very interesting. I don't know how I find myself in a position where I had to top the previous week's edition of What the Hell is Wrong with AEW, but that's the charm of this podcast. And as Bryan Carter said last week, we do have the best wrestling podcast in the world, and I appreciate and love each and every single one of you for making this show for what it is. It's not just myself or Bryan Carter, it's you guys. Speaking of Bryan Carter, unfortunately, you will not be hearing me and him at the same time today, but he is on the show. He did send his clips this week. He is via satellite. No, this week. And that's okay. I understand things come up. His fiance is in town, so I'm going to let him enjoy his waterfall adventures. And for me, we'll come here and have some fun and shoot the shit. So today is going to be more of a prediction-based show because, I mean, after all, we got 3 pay-per-views to predict and preview. No. So we'll get to that. I'll make my predictions for Clash of the Castle and Worlds Collide in this week at WWE. And then we'll do the all-out portion in What the Hell's Wrong with AEW. And then we'll wrap up the show this week with the Thoughts of Dericho. And you'll get Brother Carter's predictions for Clash of the Castle. No. All right, so enough of the plugs. Let's talk, shall we? It's time for the Back Porch Q&A session. By the way, I hope you guys enjoyed the intro this week from the AZ Weeks podcast with Eric Bischoff. Kind of gives you a little taste, a little taste, as Daddy Magic Matt Menard would say, into what you're going to get for What the Hell's Wrong with AEW this week. But yeah, we got the Back Porch Q&A session today. Not a lot of questions this week, but I always appreciate when the guys do send questions, even if it's 10 or whatever we're going to do today. But I just want to thank those guys for making the set for what it is. And if you have any questions for the Back Porch Q&A session, all you have to do is hit me up at Twitter at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. First, we start off with the usual suspect himself, Chris Zaletta at XTeensZaletta24X on Twitter. I don't want to say I have a bone to pick with you, Chris, but I have to say, going back to your question last week about the waterfalls and the top waterfall list, there's just certain names you don't need to list because their waterfall is at such a high pedestal. It shouldn't be expressed. Like we already know. Maurice, Paige, AJ Lee, Kelly, Tori Wilson, Mickey James is like the Valhalla of waterfall for me. Like there's a certain waterfall that you don't have to mention. It's common knowledge. I wanted to change the list up a little bit, and Killer Kelly again is still number one on my list. Maybe it's just the presentation and the whole red lighting thing they're doing on Impact with her, but Mama Mia, she is a smoke show. But that's a little bone to pick with you, my man, but it's all good. All right, let's start with questions here. He says, does Drew McIntyre come out to Broken Dreams at Clash of the Castle? I believe he does. Yes, I believe he will. It'll be a pretty cool moment. I'm looking forward to it. Drew is I put it on Twitter this week, man. I'm really excited for him. Like, you really got to think about it for him, from his personal journey and everything he's gone through. This may even be bigger than him missing out on the Brock Stadium experience at WrestleMania 36. If you really think about it, this match with Roman Reigns on Saturday may even be bigger than Drew winning the title at WrestleMania in front of nobody. I can't even think about the amount of pressure and anxiety he's going through, positive anxiety, because man, it's gonna be a great energy when he comes out there during that match. I can't wait for Saturday. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. But as far as your question is concerned, yes, I do think it'll happen. I think he'll get a small sampling of it, Chris, but it'll transition into his other song too. So we'll see how that goes. Next question: who do you think returns to WWE next? Me, damn it, Vincent Kennedy McMahon. No, I'm kidding. Let's see. That's a good question. I mean, I really haven't been keeping up on the who's been cut or not list because there was a lot of cuts that went down during the pandemic. If I had to go off the top of my head, I could probably say Emma or Tennille Dashwood. That'd probably be a pick for me. That's a great question. I mean, PW Insider, I don't usually reference dirt sheet stuff or rumors and stuff on this podcast. I believe our show is about substance and speak for ourselves instead of going off of rumors. But I did see something today that Mike Johnson said that Braun Strowman is coming back to WWE. So I'll address this here now. I've always liked Braun Strowman. I don't have a personal issue with him. I know there's a lot of people on Twitter who base their enjoyment or excitement for performance based on whoever fenced her on politically. I don't do that shit. I don't look down on somebody just because they're Republican or Democrat, whatever. Like I said last week, I'm independent. I can think for myself. But again, for people to just, I just think a lot of people on Twitter specifically like get on the vine and just trash certain performers over their political views or their backgrounds in wrestling. And I just think that's stupid and counterproductive, to be honest with you. And I do think Braun Strowman can bring good qualities. He was over, and Braun Strowman, I think, could be a good heater in a way for guys like Austin Theory or The Miz. Let's say this thing with Miz and Ciampa doesn't last forever. You could do that. Or like Chris mentioned to me earlier today about a wife family reunion. Who knows? Braun Strowman is a good tall guy to have on your television-based wrestling show. And this goes to the casual versus hardcore fan argument. Who's going to grab your eye? Ricochet while you're flipping the channel, or somebody the size of Braun Strowman? Let's just be honest. So I think Braun Strowman could be a good addition. Having him back in WWE, I wouldn't have a problem with that. Let's see. Let's get to the next question here. Which match are you looking forward to at Worlds Collide? That's a great question. I think for me, the match I'm looking forward to the most outside of the main event in Carmelo Hayes and Ricochet, for me, is the women's match. It's the triple threat match between Mandy Rose, Miko Satomura, and another good waterfall, Blair Davenport. There's a lot of unification matches on Worlds Collide coming up on Sunday. Like I mentioned, NXT UK is having their final show today, which is kind of a bummer. I'll express a little more of my thoughts about that when we get to this week in WWE, because NXT UK has meant a lot to me. But I think that triple threat match for the ladies are going to be good. I don't know if it'll steal the show like Carmelo Hayes and Ricochet, but that's another match of the show I'm really looking forward to, is that triple threat of the women's match. I think that's going to be really good. Do you think NXT Europe will be bigger as a brand than NXT UK? I would hope so. I don't have all the details of what that looks like. If that's another show, is that another branch? Is that another performance center? Are the same people that are NXT UK going to be in NXT Europe? I have no idea what that's going to be like. What's that's going to look like, but I carry myself with a glass half full mindset and point of view, so I would like to think that it would elevate itself than what NXT UK was. Yeah, I can admit NXT UK was a niche product, and I think the pandemic affected NXT UK more than any wrestling property around the world outside the independents, obviously. And it's unfortunate that it's going away. But that's a decision that they wanted to make. But I do think that NXT Europe could be a good thing, and I expect some good stuff out of it. So hopefully it is bigger than what the initial NXT UK was. And again, I'll get to that a little later on. Will Mandy Rose unify the titles? Here's a little spoiler for my predictions. No. Who walks out of All Out as the AEW champion? Here's my question to you, Chris. Who gives a shit? It's not a knock towards you, buddy. Trust me. I want to make that clear. I'm not lashing out at you, but like, who gives a shit at the end of the day? Like, we're sitting here doing this fucking, I don't know what they call it, this merry-go-round of, okay, we got Moxley as the Internet champion. Oh, we get the unification match. Now we're getting another rematch. And then we're all expecting MJF to come out. And it's going to be a triple threat. And then something else is going to happen. And then Adam Cole's going to come in with a Sonic Ring for the Casino Ladder match. And it's like, does any of this shit matter at the end of the day? Who cares? I don't, and I'm a CM Punk guy. I'm going to save my thoughts for what the hell's wrong with AEW later, but it just amazed me. Not even a year in of my favorite wrestler being back up in the business, I can't stand to watch his shit anymore. It's a problem. It's a big, big problem. Your personal top 5 entrance themes in wrestling of all time. Oh, man. That's a great question. My favorite entrance theme of all time for me is King of Kings by Motorhead for Triple H. I love that song. Really enjoyed the Ain't No Grave from The Undertaker, the Johnny Cash version. Really enjoyed that. Obviously, can't go wrong with Shattered Glasses with the Stone Cold Steve Austin song. I really enjoyed the Rock's Hollywood, like these Hollywood Rock. I thought that was pretty cool. Of course, This Fire Burns is my personal favorite CM Punk song, if you want to know. Really enjoy Hiroki Goto's song from New Japan. There's a little like samurai Japanese hymn that plays before his actual song starts, and I kind of use that as kind of like a praying thing that I do all the time. I kind of dig it. It's pretty cool. Jay White's song is pretty good. I want to put it in my top 10 list, but this is a great question. I mean, you could go many different routes. Do I get flack for saying Word Life? Basic Thugonomics from John Cena is one of my favorites. Kurt Angle, obviously. It can't go wrong. Metalingus, of course. What's your guys' favorite theme songs? I'll love to get your guys' thoughts on that. Trying to think of other good ones. I really liked Eddie Edwards' song on Impact before he became a freaking stooge and Honor No More. I'll say that. Aleister Black's song when he was in WWE was very, very good. I enjoyed that song a lot. Gallus, the faction from NXT UK, great song. Walters, of course, the original one, or Doom, let me be correct. So there's a lot of great songs to pick from. There really is. You can't go wrong with a lot of good wrestling songs. Speaking of Emma, I don't know. I thought it was kind of catchy, the original NXT song. I haven't seen the whole bubble thing. I kind of dig her shtick in NXT. I hope she comes back. By the way, salute to Madcap Boss on procuring that waterfall. Salute to you, good sir. All right, let's continue on with the questions. Thanks for the questions this week, Chris. I appreciate you, brother, as always. Oh man! All right, here we go. Would you like to see Jay White win the tag titles, become a Grand Slam champion in New Japan this year, possibly at Wrestle Kingdom? I can't see it happening this year for Wrestle Kingdom, Nate, only due to the fact that he's going to be in the main event. I don't see a scenario right now where Jay White loses the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, unless some drastic miracle happens. I don't see that happening. I really don't. I can see it down the road. It just depends who's the right person for it, honestly, brother. I mean, you could say him and El Phantasmo would work as a tag team champions. I just think you need to have the right person in Bullet Club to go after that. Like, does Ace Austin do more tours out there? Does Chris Bay go out to Japan finally? You know, there's a lot of things to do. Does Hikuleo decide that he wants to spend more time in Japan, and you could do that? I don't see GOD return to Bullet Club anytime soon. So it's a good question. I just don't see it happening at this year's Wrestle Kingdom, only because JY being the main event, and like the last couple of years, there's only one night of Wrestle Kingdom this year. Thank God. Next question. Do you like that they're bringing real life stuff to feuds like Riddle's X? Yeah, but I want to preface with this because it's been a hot topic on social media over the last couple of days since this promo went down. And here's the thing: I'm not going to be the last person to come on here and tell you what's morally correct or morally incorrect. I think we should know by now what that is and what isn't morally correct on television as far as views are concerned. But this is the same audience that wants the Attitude Era back, but anytime we bring in something serious, then people start questioning if it's the right thing to do. I think a lot of the issues with pro wrestling today is that the core audience doesn't know what they want. They'll tell you what they want on social media, but they don't follow through with their actions when it actually happens. And that's just an undisputed fact. It's plastered through every wrestling show they watch. It's not just WWE related. It's just in general. Here's where I stand on this, Nate. I don't need Attitude Era concepts or ideas or stuff that went down with Seth Rollins and Matt Riddle to get me invested in pro wrestling. I enjoy the concept of pro wrestling for what it is. At the same time, I'm not going to thumb my nose on it where you have an energy where things are about to go rogue. I'm not opposed to it. It's a real life situation. Everybody says you want more realism in professional wrestling, right? There you go. How you go about it. It got people's attention, and that's the purpose of it. The cool thing about what's going on with Triple H now being the head of creative and all this stuff, and I always say it that way sarcastically only because I'm not really a big fan of talking about booking and stuff like that. I just don't care about that shit unless I get to the point where I'm actually doing it for a living and understanding the nuances behind it. For me, a big part of my goal with this podcast is not to insult your guys' intelligence. I can give you my opinions on what I like or don't like. I'm going to be upfront with you, just my overall takeaways. I don't need behind-the-scenes aspects or booking ideologies to form my own wrestling opinion, But going back to this, with the whole Triple H thing, is that his specialty, in a lot of ways, was grudge feuds. And who would know better to hit some real tones than Triple H like this? I didn't mind it. I thought it fit well with the segment. I thought it came off real, kind of as opposed to the CM Punk John Moxley exchange we saw in last week's edition of Dynamite. And I enjoyed it. I thought it worked. And it's going to be interesting how this goes further as far as their match is concerned in Cardiff, because the next pay-per-view after this one is Extreme Rules. I'll tell you right now, I'm not even going to give you a prediction yet, but I'll tell you right now, this feud is not ending on Saturday. I'll just let you guys know right now, it's not ending on Saturday. This will continue to Extreme Rules. Let's just say that. Okay. Last question for the show this week. What is the episode of How I Met Your Mother that hit you the hardest? Oh, man. Whew. Oh, man. I am the worst with episode names. I really am. That's on me for not growing up like watching television all the time and being like a TV fanatic. It's been kind of different for me recently where I've been trying to watch more shows and stuff like that. I have different scenes that hit me. There's a lot of them hit me positively. There's ones that hit me emotionally. I think about the one where Ted he's having his celebration, right? and he's going off to, he got his promotion and his own building that he designed finally came to fruition, right? At least like season 7 or 8. And during that episode, Robin's still single. He's single. Barney's playing around with Patrice, who's Robin's assistant, friend, blah, 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 at work. And Robin was going to be his date going to that event. And they're in the limousine and, just the plight of everything he was going through and how much strength he had within himself to be like, hey, you love the guy. Go after him. Like knowing everything that you want is right there in front of you in that red dress with the look on her eyes and knowing within that she doesn't love you, that shit hurts. And you see it on his face as, Robin gets the same episode. Robin gets engaged to Barney and the last play of his playbook thing. And that one hit me. The one when Robin said no when she came back from a trip. That a lot of them more related to Robin and Ted because that was my favorite aspect of the show and their relationship because it reminded me a lot of the feelings and stuff I went through and the love and connection I had with Lauren. So it's kind of a similar thing. Like I looked at Lauren the same way as Ted looked at Robin. So it's kind of similar in that light, and it brings back a lot of memories, and that's kind of hard to look at. There's other ones. The one where the episode where Marshall's dad passed away, I thought was very sad. That wasn't easy to watch, to say the least. The Time Travelers episode is always the easy one to go to as far as emotional roller coasters and stuff like that. It's one of the best episodes of television ever made, I think. And I made no bones about it that How I Met Your Mother is my new all-time favorite TV show. And I said that for a lot of different reasons, but it's true. It has a lot of different connections to me and correlations into my life. And I really enjoyed that show. There's a lot of great comedy, obviously, but I think the core essence of the show and main takeaway that I had from the journey of that show is the fact that it really tugs into real life, hard-hitting subjects and stuff that really does happen in real life. And watching the premise of the show is not just of how Ted met the mother of his children. Yeah, Tracy was the mother of Ted's kids, but the love of his life was Robin. If you watch the whole show, it's right there in front of you. The mother of your children is not always the woman that you fall in love the most with. As shitty as to say that's the truth. It doesn't work out that way all the time. And those specific episodes that I mentioned really are the ones that struck a chord with me because really brought back to feelings that I had in my last relationship, which had the girl that I look to as my soulmate. So those are the ones that really stand out to me. But Nate, I want to thank you for the questions. Chris as well for the awesome questions this week. You guys killed it as always. And as always, if you want to send any questions for the Back Porch Q&A session, all you have to do is hit me up on Twitter at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. When we come back, it's time to get to what happened this week in the world of WWE and make our predictions. No, for Clash of the Castle and Worlds Collide. We'll be right back. Yes, sir. Welcome back, everybody, to the Hoots Podcast. Time to talk about what happened this week in WWE. Got a lot of shows to predict and not a lot of time to waste. So right now I'm going to play a couple of clips of the shows this week that stood out to me and stuff like that. And then we'll get into the meats and potatoes of our predictions. No. Let's start off with SmackDown this past week for Detroit, Michigan. For those who were in Detroit last week, you were lucky enough to partake in 2 SmackDown tapings. This is the first one. Let's hear what Karrion Kross has to say after some awesome video packages on Drew McIntyre.
Wow.
What a beautiful story about redemption. Congratulations, Mr. McIntyre. I mean, who knows? Maybe right now really is your time. Or maybe not. However, take this moment and think about it, feel it, savor it, because in reality, at any given moment, I can put my arm through the back of your head and all of your achievements will mean absolutely nothing. Tick-tock.
Killer Cross is a gem. I say it every week, but it's true. Speaking of gems, like I said, if you guys haven't seen the backstage, not the backstage, but the vignettes for Drew McIntyre, not only on SmackDown this past week, but BT Sports, it's some good shit. Some really, really good stuff. What I really been enjoying recently over the last couple weeks on SmackDown is the backstage effective segments with the Usos, the Bloodline in general with Sami Zayn has just been top notch. For example, another one here with Roman and Sami Zayn from last week's SmackDown.
But sometimes bad things happen, right? So we can redeem ourselves.
That's right. That's how I see it too.
You thought I forgot?
Well,
I was alone last week. I needed somebody to help me out, and I appreciate what you did for me last week. And yeah, that's something that that's something that family would do. Man.
Something family should do, for sure. And I'm happy to do it. I really am. I want you to know you can count on me for anything. Really? Yeah.
Well, that's good because I need another favor.
Name it.
I need Drew occupied. I need him distracted. I need him to take his eye off the ball.
Yeah. Well, look, I got my match with him tonight, and you could not have asked a better person. The master strategist, Sami Zayn. That's what I do.
That's what you do.
I get in people's head. I make myself comfortable in there. I'm throwing down a blanket. I'm having a picnic. I'm doing a little dance.
That's the dance you do?
I'm in his head doing the dance. Yeah, right? He won't know what's what. By the time he gets to Cardiff, we're going to break him in half. I got this. This is going to be a piece of cake. In fact, I was thinking, maybe this is something we can all do together, right? Like as a unit, bloodline. Could be a bonding kind of a thing for all of us.
That sounds good, but the thing is, you put the bloodline out there, you put the tribal chief out there, I'm extremely distracted. And tonight's about you.
That is true.
You know what I'm saying?
You do command respect. That's fine. I can...
You good?
You know what? I appreciate the opportunity. Letting me go out there and do this on my own? Yes.
That's right.
Thank you. Thank you.
You have the opportunity to be the main event.
I don't take that lightly.
You got this.
I got this. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oops.
No, good luck, huh?
Oh, not going to need it. You know what I mean?
Good luck, I do.
Right?
That's just the way it is.
Okay. All right.
Oh, my God. I watched that, and I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like I'm in the role of Roman, and Brother Carter is like Sami Zayn. And that's the best compliment I can give to Brother Carter out there if you listen to this right. Like, you are the Sami Zayn to my Roman Reigns. Oh my God. Like, how could, like, Jey Uso keep a straight face while that's going on? Like, oh man. I thought SmackDown was a solid show. Not a lot of matches that you're going to remember, but I know that tomorrow they're doing a Vikings rules match. It's like a no DQ false count anywhere match with the New Day and the Viking Raiders, so that should be pretty good. They're also celebrating the 2-year anniversary of Roman Reigns being the Universal Champion tomorrow. That should be good. Yeah, some good stuff over there on SmackDown. Let's go over to Raw. Raw was in Pittsburgh this past Monday night. You could tell because I don't know what it is. The WWE crowds in Pittsburgh are kind of hit and miss. Sometimes they're good, and then other times they just sit on their hands like they were on Monday. Like, no, don't get me wrong. I don't want to say like this Raw was like the greatest thing ever, but like if you just go off of crowd reactions and them sitting on their hands, you would just think like nothing was happening. Judgment Day against AJ and Dolph Ziggler joined the match. I thought that was pretty good. Sooner or later, Dom has to grow a set of cojones and start just molly-whopping Rhea. Now, and I understand it. Rhea's waterfall is very tempting, and she has. If anybody realistically could hoodwink somebody, it would be her. I see where they're going with her with that point of view, but it's not a good look on Dominic. I'll just say that. Let me get the controversy out of the way, the whole women's tag team titles thing, because I know that's been a discussion point this week on a lot of shows and Twitter. Again, I'm going to pose this out to you and just look at it from a bigger picture point of view instead of looking at wrestling from a on the surface level. Okay, let's say the obvious decision was Dakota Kai, Io Sky become the tag team champions. Knowing, well, you have a women's trios match to promote on Saturday. Not only you win the match, but you get your ass kicked and not even get a chance to celebrate your championship. So you walk into the pay-per-view as basically the chumps for Bayley. And then, okay, you go to Cardiff, and then you lose there as well. Now, here's the thing. We'll get to our predictions in a couple minutes. Here's the thing. I could totally see Bianca and company winning. I could. But let's just say that doesn't happen. Let's go back to what happened in the match where Dakota was not the legal competitor when the pinfall went down. Bad job, Sean Bennett. And I give you some benefit of the doubt sometimes, but you've been slipping recently when it comes to these tag matches. If you ask me firsthand if that would be my decision of having Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah to win the tag team titles, I would tell you no. And again, opinions are opinions, but this past Monday night and the overreaction, and I mean honestly, the overreaction over the fact that Raquel and Aaliyah won as if it was some cardinal sin, and I'm seeing tweets about, oh, this has been all a ruse, this has been booking the entire time, blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's say this. Okay, how does that make the new women's tag team champions look good when they take a clean pinfall on the pay-per-view in Cardiff? Okay. Oh, what about the return of Sasha Banks and Naomi? Let's address the elephant in the room. Okay, let's put the titles on Dakota and Io, only to have them lose it the next month at Extreme Rules. You want to tell me again how that benefits either woman? I'm not going to come here and play hypocrite here. I've been 100% transparent in my stance in the fact that women's tag team titles, women's TV titles, etc., are not going to work in WWE unless you have a standalone women's weekly television show. You don't have enough women, and you don't have enough time to get those stories through. The concept of the women's tag team titles just doesn't work right now. If anything, a mid-card title would work better off than the women's tag team titles. I'm just being honest with you. That's just my opinion. I don't need you to agree with me when it comes to that. It's fine. Trust me. But again, I really am getting tired of these on-the-surface takes and, oh my god, Dakota and Io got buried. Yeah, that's right. We're going to put Dakota Kai and Io Sky in the main event of Raw before Clash Castle just to bury them. Like, do you guys even listen to yourselves before you send out the tweets you send out. Take some advice from Herb Edwards and don't press send, because a lot of you guys come off like fucking idiots. You want to talk about maximizing TV time? How about this? Alpha Academy and Kurt Angle. Enjoy.
Otis, hit him with the jacket. Thank you. Incredible. Look at that. Official merch.
Don't do it,
Alpha
Kurt.
Academy only, baby. It's great to have you, Kurt.
You know what? I think I'll pass.
Excuse me? Baking powder? It sounds like you just turned down the single greatest one-night offer in history. Tell me you did not say no. Tell me that's not true.
Oh, it's true. It's damn.
Shoosh!
One more time.
Single greatest one-night offer in history. Tell me you did not say no. Tell me that's not true.
Oh, it's true. It's damn.
Shoosh!
Oh, that was great. Otis and Chad Gable, Kurt Angle, was just top tier shit. I mean, honestly, I can't begin to tell you how funny that was for me. I was crying laughing during that segment. That was great. And then the match after that with the Street Profits was really good. Street Profits won the match. Very long and competitive match, I'll say that. Enjoyed the Kevin Owens, Jey Uso match. I talked about the Riddles and Rollins promo earlier. If you guys haven't seen it, go on your way and check it out. Oh man, poor Miz. Miz is going down a downward slope, man. I feel bad for him. That's very interesting. The backstage segment with Edge and Kurt Angle recreating their segment from 20 years ago, which led to Kurt becoming bald in the first place. I thought that was pretty funny. And speaking of context clues, let's hear a little bit here with Rey and Dominic Mysterio.
Clash at the Castle, I thought it was going to be a family thing. It is, son. It is a family thing. You know, tú bien sabes que Edge is like family. But the reason I chose him is I need that experience by my side. ¿Sí me entiendes, right? You understand? Yeah. Hey, I still need you in our corner, though. Will you be there Sunday for us?
Yeah, I understand. You need the experience on your corner. I get it. I'll be by yours and Edge's side.
Let's hear some stuff here for Kevin Owens.
Seriously. No, dude, I mean it. I'm genuinely sad to see that you have forgotten the fact that you are absolutely one of the greatest in-ring performers of all time. All time. And now you're reduced to being the Bloodline's personal clown. It's pathetic. And dude, I mean that. We've been through a lot together, but I still consider you my best friend. Actually, I consider you more like a brother. So it's really sad to see what you've become. You should look at yourself in the mirror and reassess things.
Some good stuff there. Yeah, overall, I thought Raw and SmackDown were pretty solid shows this week. Not really much I really want to vent about. I mean, there's stuff that you can shrug your shoulders with, sure, but you get that with every TV show. I feel like this past couple weeks television has been good, where it's nothing really I felt the need that I need to roll my eyes over. I'll just say just the reaction and kind of the personal insults too towards Raquel and Aaliyah was kind of ridiculous. Guys, there's more important shit. There's more important stuff to worry about and vex about than fucking booking. I don't know whoever thought that book is the most important thing in professional wrestling today, but you guys do you. All right. Let's make some predictions for these shows. Before we get to that, I just want to say this. To everybody from NXT UK, from Johnny Say to Sid Scala to every single male, female performers, the referees, Chris Sharp, of course, Chip Danning, fantastic referee, Nigel McGuinness, Andy Shepard, when Vic Joseph and Tom Phillips were there, Matthew Raywall as well. Everybody that ever played a part into NXT UK, I just want to say thank you. NXT UK was my favorite WWE show that was being produced, and I am kind of bummed out that today's going to be the last episode. We have Tyler Bate in Trent 7, where Tyler became the NXT UK champion, obviously. There's a Fatal 4-Way elimination match with Blair Davenport, Isla Dawn, Amel, and Eliza Alexander. Kenny Williams will be taking on Saxon Huxley. Those are the matches for NXT UK today. But to the entire crew for NXT UK, I just want to say thank you because I enjoyed the brand. And I am kind of bummed out that I'm not going to see a lot of the performances I enjoy that were released, unfortunately, last week, and all this announcement that's been going on over the last couple weeks. But I just want to say thank you for the last 4 or 5 years. It's been a pleasure and honor to cover every single episode of NXT UK since the inception of the brand and the NXT UK Championship tournaments or the Blackpool takeovers, just some of the awesome stuff that we've been able to witness. The show at the Royal Albert Hall, obviously, it's been a great time. And I thought NXT UK was a good thing for the wrestling business, and I hope it comes back in some way whenever this expansion starts. But I just want to say again, thank you guys and ladies for what you did for the brand, and I wish the best for everybody that's not signed with WWE anymore, and that they have a bright future ahead of them, and they will. And cheers to NXT UK. All right, let's go over these predictions pretty quickly, okay? Carmelo Hayes against Ricochet for the North American Championship. Carmelo Hayes will retain here. It'll be a very good match, but I think Trick Williams will do too much interference, which will allow Carmelo to retain here. So I got Carmelo Hayes winning. Fatal 4-Way match for the tag team titles. I have Pretty Deadly winning this match. Something's going to come up where Roderick Strong costs the Creed Brothers the tag team titles, and I can see that scenario happening. It'd be cool if Gallus won. I will say that, but I think for this unification match, I think that Pretty Deadly will be your unified NXT Tag Team Champions. I have Nathan Frazier beating Axiom in a 2-on-3 falls match. That's going to be a lot of fun. I got Katana Chase and Katie Carter retaining against Piper Niven and Nikki Cross. I have Blair Davenport becoming your new NXT Women's Champion, beating Mandy Rose and Miko Satomura. And I got Braun Breaker retaining over Tyler Bate to becoming your unified NXT champion. So those are my predictions for Worlds Collide. This show's going to be very good. There's going to be a lot of good barn burners on this one. I think this show is going to be very telling for the NXT 2.0 brand coming up on Sunday. Do not miss the show. I think the show's starting at 3 o'clock Central Time on Sunday. So be on the lookout for it because it's going to be damn good. And then as far as Clash of the Castle is concerned, let me pull up the card for that show as well. We got 6 matches on that card as well. I have Damage Control winning the Women's Trios match. I do think Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky will win their match over Asuka, Bianca Belair, and Alexa Bliss. I see two scenarios happening here. Either Alexa Bliss turns on Bianca Belair, or Bayley gets a pinfall victory over Asuka. That's how I see this happening. Edge and Rey Mysterio against the Judgment Day. That's a great question. I have no idea. This is one of the toss-up matches for me on this show. I am looking forward to it. It should be fun seeing Edge and Rey team up with each other. But I think the Judgment Day will beat Edge and Rey Mysterio. Something's going to go down, but the Judgment Day will beat Edge and Rey Mysterio. I got Liv Morgan retaining over Shayna Baszler with a roll-up. Probably get a rematch at Extreme Rules. I think that's important caveat to mention here that Extreme Rules is the next pay-per-view for WWE. I have Gunther retaining against Sheamus for the Intercontinental Championship. This match will seal the show. I got Seth Rollins and Riddle going to either a no contest or a double disqualification. It's too personal between these guys. Just to have it to be a regular singles match, it's not going to go down like that. I know people are going to be upset about that, but I'll just give you a forewarning beforehand. With what happened in that promo on Monday, if you think that match on Saturday is going to end in a regular wrestling match, I don't know what to tell you. It's just not going to happen. So either they have to have a brawl backstage and Adam Pearce announces during the show that the match is going to turn into a no disqualification or something like that. Unless that happens, this is either adding in a no contest or a double disqualification or count up. I'm just throwing that out there. Let's see. And then, of course, the main event. Roman Reigns against Drew McIntyre for the Universal Championship. I've really been juggling my stance on where I was going to go with this match. Because honestly, for me, I don't care who wins this match. I'm perfectly fine with either guy winning here. I really am. For me, I do think it's time. I don't think Roman Reigns loses any bit of credibility or drawing power or anything you want to say if he loses to Drew McIntyre here. So with that being said here, I am going with Drew McIntyre. But again, if Roman Reigns retains, I would not have a problem with that. I'll just say that up front. I wouldn't have a problem with that. I do think Drew McIntyre gets his moment in front of the audience, and we see where it goes with the title picture there. I'm curious to see how this goes with the 2-year celebration tomorrow on SmackDown, but either way, this could be one of the matches of the year. This could be the show of the year on Saturday, but I am really excited for this Roman Reigns Drew McIntyre match. It's going to be a barn burner, and it's going to be one for the ages. I'm just telling you right now. I can't fucking wait for Saturday, and I just can't wait for it to get here. It's going to be awesome. So I have Drew McIntyre becoming your new undisputed Universal Champion on Saturday. So that's my predictions. No for the castle that contains clashes and where the worlds will collide this weekend for WWE. Alright, folks. It's time to give the people what they want, what they need, what they've been waiting for. It's time, my friends, for another edition of What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. We're going to start this off with Brother Carter via satellite this week in a 3, a 2, a 1.
Beat your meat, 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 beat your meat.
I'm telling you, my time is right now. Right this minute, 2022. We're living it. My time is now. My time is right. God damn now.
Man, what intensity.
It's time for
What the hell is wrong with AEW?
What the hell is wrong with AEW? At this point, Josh has really hit the nail on the head in saying what the hell isn't wrong with AEW. I'm not going to lie to you, I kind of just fast-forwarded through most of the show this week because I knew what I was going to get, and I looked at the results, and I just saw what I needed to see, and I'll just comment on a couple things real fast, and then I'll give my predictions. Yes! For All Out, and All Out definitely gets a yes, because it is going to be a bullshit, freaking terrible pay-per-view. All right. Moxley comes out and cuts a promo, which I actually thought was a pretty good promo. It was fine. We knew the kind of promo that Moxley gives. I actually didn't have a problem with this promo. I thought it was good. I thought there were some good lines in there. And he basically called out CM Punk for what I've been saying about him for years, that he's a whiny, snot-nosed little bitch who should have stayed away from professionals. Well, actually, no, that's not true. I'm glad he came back to professional wrestling, and we'll get to that here in just a little bit. But, yeah, whiny, snot-nosed bitch, and Jon Moxley called him out appropriately on that. So, and now Ace Steel, who I have no idea who he is, comes out and gets the open contract, which we'll get to here in just a little bit. I didn't watch Jake Hager versus Bryan Danielson. I know what it's going to be. Danielson looked great. Jake Hager's a moron. There was a brawl between the Blackpool Combat Club and the Jericho Appreciation Society in a feud that's been going on for about 6 months too long. And, yeah, there you go. Fine. For some stupid reason, William Morrissey is back and is now with Stokely Hathaway after destroying the Wingmen, who I've only heard their names, but I have no idea who they are. So this was a waste of a segment. By the way, someone pointed out on Twitter that they were able to get the I think it might have been AEW botches. The Wingmen get TV time, but Ricky Starks, who's probably the hottest act in AEW right now, doesn't get a segment on the show, and they're just going to throw him in a match with QT Marshall on Rampage. But Booker of the Year, pal. All right, so anyways, we get that. Morrissey comes out, don't care. He's going to be relegated to dark in about 2 weeks. Let's see. We get the women's match. Fine, don't care. Don Fallis talks to Will Ospreay, don't care. Apparently, Pac is going to defend his All-Atlantic Championship, even though that hasn't been a thing on their programming since Pac won it. So, solid storytelling there. I don't know what Kip Sabian's deal is, where the hell he's been, whatever. Okay. CM Punk comes out. And I've said before, he's a sniveling, whiny bitch who, I've not been a fan of. That being said, he was the best part about Dynamite ever since his return. And I was intrigued by his segments every week, and I own that. I was intrigued by his segments every week. No problems there. But then he comes out, cuts a whiny little sniveling bitch promo. Ace Steel, who I have no idea who that is, comes out, slaps some life into him, drops an F-bomb on television, because why wouldn't he? Punk gets fired up, signs the contract, and we get Punk Moxley too. Does anybody want to see this? I don't. And I said this last week on the Hoots podcast, and I stand by it. CM Punk is no longer the martyr. CM Punk has proven that everything that I've said about him was true. He can't go anymore. His matches are terrible. Him coming back as now just proving that we were all right, and that I was right, that he's overrated. And this match on Sunday is going to prove it in the main event. It's going to be a terrible, slow match. They're going to bleed everywhere. And CM Punk's, I'll get to my predictions here in a second. Punk's going to win because Mark Khan is booking, and why wouldn't he book Mark? Why wouldn't Mark book Punk to win in his hometown and then say, we don't screw the other people in their hometowns like the other companies do? Which basically destroys AEW business model because they can't mock WWE anymore because it's way better. So, there you go. This was awful. This was a terrible promo. Then we get a stupid Jungle Boy Christian Cage segment, and then we get a squash match from Wardlow and FTR for some stupid reason. This was ridiculous. Wheeler Yuta match, don't care. And then the trampoline match, which I don't care about. So that's Dynamite. We're probably going to get Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega at the Arthur Ashe Stadium show because Mark Khan is booking. And there you go. Okay, last part of my segment here, on my time here for what the hell is wrong with AEW. I'm going to give my predictions. Yes. Can you tell how much I just don't give a shit about this company anymore and about this show? I don't even care anymore about this show. I'm just going to go through this real quick. We've got the All Out show coming up. A show they build to over 2 weeks, even though they know the pay-per-view is going to happen for about 3 months. But they decided to build it up over the last 2 weeks because ratings matter, pal, and that's all that matters here. AEW is WCW 2.0. Like, let's just be real about it. But anyways, I'm going to go through this real quick. I'm looking off tomsguide.com is where I'm getting the current card. And here's what we got. If I miss a match, I don't really give a shit. Okay, we've got the 0-hour pre-show match. Pac defending his title against Kip Sabian, who I completely forgot both of these folks existed. Well, no, sorry. Let me take that back. I knew Kip Sabian existed. I forgot Pac had a title. But, he's going to retain his title. I don't see why he won't. Hook will retain his title against Cool Hand Angelo Parker, the FTW Championship. I don't know who that is. Ishii against Eddie Kingston. I'm going to take Eddie Kingston to win this match. Sorry, Josh. I know Ishii's your guy. FTR and Wardlow versus Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns. It will be cool to see Motor City Machine Guns. I always enjoyed their work in TNA. But I have FTR and Wardlow winning here. Ricky Starks versus Powerhouse Hobbs. I'm going to take Powerhouse Hobbs so that their feud can continue. Or hopefully Ricky Starks can leave go to WWE. House of Black versus Miro, Sting, and Darby Allin. And I have Miro, Sting, and Darby Allin winning that one because Miro is now with Sting and Darby Allin for some reason. The Casino Ladder match for a future AEW World Championship. Claudio Castagnoli versus Wheeler Yuta versus Penta El Zero Miedo versus Phoenix versus Rush versus Andrade El Idolo versus Dante Martin versus the Joker. And I'm going to take the Joker because Mark Khan is booking. And why wouldn't the new flavor of the month get a world title match? And rankings matter in AEW. Tony Storm versus Dr. Britt Baker DMD versus Jamie Hayter versus Hikaru Shida for the AEW Interim World Championship. I'm going to take Tony Storm here. Well, it's probably going to be Tony Smith. God, I don't know. I'm going to take Tony Storm. I'm going to take Tony Storm. It's probably going to be Britt Baker, but I'll take Tony Storm just for the hell of it. Maybe they'll get some booking right. The AEW World Trios Tournament Finals, the Elite versus the winner of the Dark Order, Hangman Adam Page, or Best Friends. It doesn't matter who they face. It's going to be the Elite because the EVPs will put the titles on themselves. Jade Cargill will defeat Athena, and then hopefully Jade Cargill will leave AEW. Christian Cage will defeat Jungle Boy. Swerve and Our Glory will... No, the Acclaimed will win the AEW World Tag Team Championships. I've got the Acclaimed winning those belts. Bryan Danielson will defeat Chris Jericho. And then CM Punk will defeat Jon Moxley to win a World Championship in his hometown because a Mark is booking this fucking show. And... it's going to be a complete waste of time. It's going to be embarrassment to the wrestling industry, just like this company is an embarrassment to the wrestling industry. Seriously, what the hell is wrong with AEW?
This has been What the Hell is Wrong with AEW.
There's only one Brother Carter. Bravo. Bravo. Bravo, sir. Proud to call you a brother. Proud to have you to be part of this podcast each week, my man. I love you. Oh, fuck, man. As I was getting ready to fall asleep last night, I was thinking about the show and what we were going to go about and talk about the things on the segment, obviously. And it just dawned on me. Like, you know how we talk about how AEW does their job of writing this segment for us. But it hit me, and it's been the prevailing thought in a lot of ways, is the question of this segment and the thesis behind this segment. What the hell is wrong with AEW? It's AEW. They do it to themselves. I can't just say they write the segment for us, because they do. But everything that does go wrong, everything that could go wrong does go wrong with this show and this promotion. They just can't fucking help themselves. I'm going to say my predictions toward the end of this segment, because I got a lot that I need to get off my chest. If you guys can bear with me, if I could, if we have some decorum here and just allow me to vent a little bit as we go into this fuckfest of a go-home show that we just watched last night. Don't worry, I'll get to the CM Punk stuff in a couple minutes, but let me just start off with this. Bryan Danielson against Jake Hager for, 15 minutes last night? Bryan Danielson won. Wow. Ray Charles saw that shit coming. Jake Hager being the heater for Chris Jericho and whatever re-innovation of the Job Squad, Right to Censor, the Core, whatever the fuck we're going to call the Jericho January 6th appreciators. We've sit through this shit, and this group sucks, A. Chris Jericho's not good on television, B. C. Chris Jericho, go the fuck home and stay the fuck home. You should not be on commentary. And D. Why are we starting our show off with 5 commentators at the desk? So, we have everything that goes within a Dynamite show, all in the first match of the show. Okay, one match that should not be going as long as it is. Oh, I'm supposed to believe that JK is supposed to have a competitive match because he's an MMA Bellator fighter. Whoopity fucking do. Bryan Danielson wins, to the surprise of absolutely nobody. By the way, am I supposed to cheer or boo Bryan Danielson? Or we're going to play this gray area bullshit because this twat carries himself like a fucking Karen in real life? Like, tell me, like, how am I supposed to go about Bryan Danielson? How am I supposed to view the American Dragon? A smug prick? A babyface? A conquering hero? The underdog? I wonder if we're going to run the underdog hero, because what are WWE retreads we can rerun in AEW at this point? So, we have Karen Danielson take on the Lionheart Chris Jericho at All Out on Sunday. Awesome. And it's not about who's winning the match. All we're doing is building up of whether or not the new Times Roman font, Daniel Garcia, we're going to figure out whether he's a pro wrestler or sports entertainer. I just throw my hands up in the air. Literally, as you guys listen, I just threw my hands up in the air. Who gives a shit? It's the same fucking shit! Pro wrestling, sports entertainment, Kaiju King Battle, fucking porn videos of porn actors having wrestling matches. They're all the same shit. It's fucking entertainment. So who's really winning here? I'm sure this could be a 25, 30-minute match, just like every other match on this fucking card on Sunday. That's the first part of the show. Now I'm going to get to one thing I did enjoy from Dynamite last night, was the Fatal 4-Way match with Phoenix, Wheeler Useless, Roosh, and Dante Martin. Outside of the fact that Wheeler Useless won the match, I thought it was a very good match, so kudos where kudos goes there. How about this? all the stuff we heard going into the program with Jungle Boy and Christian Cage, and this is what we get for the final segment.
I agreed to do this interview on one condition, ladies and gentlemen, that is no physicality. I don't know how to even approach this situation, but I know by having no physicality here today, Christian, that elbow's not going to get any worse. And we appreciate you taking the time to share your thoughts about this match.
Of course you appreciate it, JR, because you signed me to my very first contract in this business, so you know that I'm a professional to the T. And I agreed to no physicality. That's not an issue for me. Because on Sunday, Jack, you're going to have to step in the ring with me face to face and realize that you're not in my league. At less than 100%, I'm going to destroy you at all out. You're going to be a has-been at 25 years old. I hope you're prepared to live with that for the rest of your life.
You know, as much as I would like to just sit here and stare you in your stupid, smug face and tell you I hate you, it's a little more complicated than that for me. Because I've cared about you a lot. My relationship with you has felt very familiar to me in a lot of ways. And I loved you. And whether or not you ever truly cared about me, you made me feel like you loved me too. And as much as I would like to believe that the real you is still in there somewhere, this was probably the real you all along, wasn't it?
It is the real me. I'm not here to be your friend, Jack. I'm not here to be your father figure.
You want to talk about my father?
No. I'm here to make money.
Yeah.
I'm here to win championships. I'm here for me.
Let me tell you about my father. My father taught me what it means to be a man. And that is a lesson that I am going to teach you. And this Sunday, you are not wrestling Jungle Boy. This Sunday, you are going to fight Jack Perry.
Okay. I don't necessarily have an issue with the verbiage or what went down in this segment. My thing is, okay, all this stuff about Christian going, talking smack about Jungle Boy's dad being dead, all that. And then to go into the pay-per-view, we're going to go back to, I loved you. This is not the real you. All this melodramatic bullshit. It's like, okay, now I'm supposed to take Jungle Boy seriously now because now he's going to address himself as Jack Perry? Like, come on. They agreed to the no physicality. I get it. I understand that. And honestly, JR is better off doing these backstage vignettes than he is doing live commentary at this point. Hoodie said it perfectly on his show. If you want a good wrestling show to watch, go check out Good Karma Wrestling. Every time I hear JR now, I'm just reminded of one thing. And the prevailing thought in my ears every time I hear JR. You know what that sounds like? You know what that looks like? It sounds like the end. JR, man, you're not doing your job anymore. And Tony Khan, you're not making yourself look any better having him out there in the booth for 2 hours every single week. It's not a good look. Okay. Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter against Toni Storm and Hikaru Shida. Tell me I haven't seen this match 4 or 5 times in the last 8 weeks. I know what the match looks like. Jamie Hayter does nothing but clubbing blows to somebody's back and an uppercut. And a double suplex. Great. I like her physicality, but boy, is she fucking repetitive as shit in the ring. And Britt, I love you too, but you gotta clean up those fucking forearms, man. They look like powder puff girl forearms. It's bad. So, this match did nothing for me. All this was a preview for the 4-way that I don't care about already. And Hikaru Shida and Toni Storm won. By the way, wasn't FTR one of the most popular acts in AEW? How about Wardlow? Now they are relegated to fight Jay Lethal and the Morrissey Machine Guns in the 8th most relevant match on this card on Sunday. You know what their consolation prize is? Beating up Silas Young, a good veteran, a good wrestler from Ring of Honor, who didn't even participate in the match. Silas Young, Red Jones, Vic Capri in the Who Gives a Shit Trios match. Let's get to the Elite and United Empire, because I cannot save the last thing before we get to our predictions and not talk about CM Punk. So let's get the main event out of the way. Kenny Olivier and the Hardy Boys against the United Empire. A lot of athleticism. Yep, I'll say that. A lot of athleticism, a lot of moves, a lot of sequences. Wasn't this the same exact fucking match layout that we saw last week with the Death Triangle? Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to take away from the performer's skills. That stuff's impressive. There's some impressive spots in that match. But again, I am at my wit's end with trios matches in professional wrestling for me. And I can say that I'm jaded to it, and I'll own that. I am jaded towards trios matches. I think they're the most incomprehensive matches in professional wrestling, especially televised wrestling. I think each trios match makes their referees look stupid. They might as well have fucking robot umps in these matches because they're useless. They serve no purpose. I think only my guy, referee Tony, could have a competent trios match. Maybe Mike Yoda too. But these trios matches, whether it's New Japan, Impact, NWA, AEW, these trios matches that go on and on and on and on, these 25, 30-minute trios matches on television are not good. I don't give a shit what these fickle crowds you go to every week chant for. Fight forever, fight forever. Do they generally want to see these guys fight forever, or they're trying to get themselves over with these chants? Let's be honest, okay? So, I watched this match. The same exact match layout as the week before with the Death Triangle. Will Ospreay puts out on Twitter today that he's not going to be in AEW for the foreseeable future. And you know what? Good for him. Because, by the way, Will Ospreay in AEW, outside of his match with Orange Cassidy, which I will not count in the record books because that's a New Japan show as well, and it was for a New Japan title. By the way, Will Ospreay in AEW is 1-3. Will Ospreay is better than 95% of their roster. And yeah, he did not take the pin last night, but we all knew who was going to win. So we now got the Elite taking on, presumably, the Dark Order and Hangman Page, who have to fight the Best Friends in Pockets on Rampage on Friday. By the way, no Rampage spoilers. This bad boy is live on Friday. So, another 25, 30-minute main event worth of shit. Tumbling routines, spots that we all saw last week. And needless to say, I could give a shit about these trios titles, the trios division, trios wrestling matches. Make it worth my time. These 6-man tags everywhere, they're like 25 minutes long each. Like, god damn. Switch it up. Do a different style match. How about actually having a tag match where you actually hold the fucking tag rope? Is that fucking hard to do? And here we are. The coup de grace of this fuck show of a wrestling promotion. The Taj Mahal of Tony Khan's acquisitions in professional wrestling. CM Punk, a year ago, a world beater, Teflon Punk, Teflon Tony Khan. They can do no wrong. CM Punk's back. CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk. My favorite wrestler is back in professional wrestling. Hell, I've been to 2 AEW shows since he came back just to see this guy. All in a year span. To now, you have him come out and sound like a fucking baby back bitch. Fuck you, Tony Khan. Honestly, fuck you. Because you're enabling his shit. And this is, I can't believe I have to say this. I am better off if he doesn't show up on Sunday. You got me to the point where I don't give a shit whether CM Punk shows up on Sunday, whether he quits again, whether he wins, whether he loses on Sunday. I don't give a fuck now. I don't. And that's thanks to you. This stupid ass booking. CM Punk does this whole soliloquy about how we're Chicago tough, and he's crying, and he's doing this Shawn Michaels bit. By the way, it's kind of ironic for him doing that as a Bret Hart guy. Also, this is the same guy that goes on interviews and says, "Oh, that's small dick energy when you body shame somebody or do stuff that goes on in WWE." By the way, he goes after a fan in the audience for who's chanting Cole Cabana. Punk, man, I love you, dude, but you talk out of both sides of your ass now these days. It's kind of sad. I know you were a man of your word. I find that to be very disappointing. Should be surprised, I guess. So he does this whole spiel about this is Chicago, all this shit. Let me pull this up. Because this was eye-rolling for me as somebody who's from this city. I like to apologize on behalf of my city for the shit that we were sitting through. Listen to this.
You filled an arena on a rumor that after 7 years you would come back to professional wrestling. And I'm not letting you leave now. Yeah, you thought with your balls in your heart when you went out in Cleveland. And you lost in Cleveland, so what? So what? In your own words, life isn't about how many times you get knocked down. It's how many times you get up. And you fucking get up. You get up. You get up and fight. And you're going to fight Sunday. You're going to sign this contract. All these people, you're going to sign this contract. And you're going to fight Jon Moxley!
Is that what CM Punk needed to hear? I got goosebumps, man. That was...
And you forgot who you were! Challenge Chicago!
Oh, unforgettable moment we're watching right now. What a moment.
Sign it! Sign it!
Looks like this cat may have worked.
Before I was ever CM Punk, I was just a punk rock kid from Chicago. I was born lonely at Christ Hospital, blue in the face with the cord around my neck because they've been trying to kill me since the day I was born. And they ain't found the man enough to do it yet. And Jon Moxley, you ain't him. Man.
This is explosive. Oh, God. So real.
Let's go.
So
Jon Moxley.
I love it.
You a wild thing, but you ain't wild enough. This is Chicago, where the weak are killed and eaten.
This is Chicago where the weak get killed from the weakest celebrity that we have in this city right now. This is not Chicago. This may be Rockford. I'll say that. It may be Rockford, Moline. God knows where else in the city, in the state. That's Chicago. This crybaby, oh, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I don't know if I got it. The same guy who had the bravado to carry himself in the podcast that said that he better get a better payout than The Undertaker out of WrestleMania. The guy who's really questioning his confidence, the same guy that told Triple H that Triple H needed to fight him at a WrestleMania. I'm supposed to sit here and believe that CM Punk can't beat a fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin cosplayer? I'm supposed to believe that? This is my favorite fucking wrestler? This is what he's been relegated to now? I don't know if I can do it. I don't know about this. I can't walk my dog. I can't do this. I can't do that. Maybe it's time to give it up. Brother, you quit fucking 7 years ago when shit got too tough for you. This whole build-up, this whole journey to this match that's taking place on Sunday, it's been nothing but grade A, homogenized, Holstein bullshit. It's a slap to face to people like you who are looking for an alternative. It's a slap in the face for everybody who wants to see something different in professional wrestling. It's a slap in the face of CM Punk fans because what's going to happen now on Sunday? Oh, CM Punk is going to do this whole plea on Wednesday about Chicago this, I'm doing this for you, Chicago, feel sorry for me. And then he's going to turn into a heel on Sunday. Good luck with that, fucking clown Mark Booker of the Year, Jagoff. That ain't going to happen. CM Punk could do anything in Chicago. He's not going to turn, him turning heel, and you're going to expect to hear the entire crowd turn on him? Good luck with that. Good luck with that. By the way, Jon Moxley earlier in the show was getting booed out of the building. So, this whole journey, CM Punk gets his foot injured in Los Angeles after Double or Nothing. He has to take time off. We have this stupid-ass interim championship tournament where Jon Moxley eventually beats Tanahashi at Forbidden Door. The concept of the interim title has been stupid since the start of it. And then CM Punk comes back. We get the title unification match. Not at the pay-per-view, but in fucking Cleveland, just so we can do this fucking sob story on the go-home show. And then what? We're going to have the rematch on Sunday. And then what? We're going to have Jon Moxley with Train Clean. CM Punk's going to get in his feelings and turn heel. Oh, MJF's going to come back to save the day. We're going to have a triple threat at Arthur Ashe. Who gives a fucking shit? None of this shit is benefiting anybody in the promotion or anybody watching this fucking shit. It's stupid. This match should have happened the way it should have been on Sunday. But no, we got a fucking idiot that's so fixated on what Dave Meltzer and Bryan Alvarez and everybody on Twitter thinks about him. We gotta put this fucking match on TV that served no purpose. And then now we're gonna get the main event match for what? A swerve? A run-in by MJF, who's a heel, who doesn't care about your product, the guy who said that you're in it for yourself and only bringing in people that are for past WWE performers. Okay, that makes sense. We're going to align CM Punk with MJF to screw over a former WWE champion with another guy who's another former WWE champion. Tell me how any of this shit makes any fucking sense. It's fucking stupid. Thank you, Tony Khan. Thank you. I want to thank you personally for me getting to the point now where I don't give a shit whether if my favorite wrestler is on your program anymore or not. I don't care anymore. Thank you. Thank you for showing me the light of your ways. You fucking mark. Let's get to these predictions and get the hell out of here. 0 Hour, Eddie Kingston and Tomohiro Ishii. Eddie Kingston. Got Pac retaining over Kit Sabian. Hook will put Angelo Parker to sleep. He'll retain. All Out. Bryan Danielson, Chris Jericho. Bryan Danielson will win. Daniel Garcia will turn on the Jericho Appreciation Society. Keith Lee and Shea Strickland will retain over the Acclaim. Whoopity-doo. Jungle Boy will beat Christian Cage. Darby Allin, Sting, and Miro will beat the House of Black. How about that? Kenny Olivier and the Young Bucks will become your inaugural AEW World Trios Champion. I got Jade Cargill retaining over Athena. I got Adam Cole winning the Casino ladder match. I got Ricky Starks beating Powerhouse Hobbs. FTR and Wardlow go over Jay Lethal and Morrissey Machine Guns. I got Tony Storm becoming your new AEW Women's World Champion. And Jon Moxley retains over CM Punk in Chicago. And that, my friends, is what the hell is wrong with AEW. Alright guys, I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me this week. As always, I want to appreciate you for support. I love you guys. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. There's a lot of great wrestling this week, so I hope you guys get the chance to enjoy all 3 pay-per-views. And we'll be here next week to recap them. On that note, be on the lookout on Twitter on Monday at the Hoots Podcast. We'll be dropping the link to our Yahoo Pick'em League. No money. It's just for fun. You get to pick games and stuff like that, and we'll see who has who's the best picker in the community that we have here with the Hoots Podcast for the upcoming NFL season. So be on the lookout for that. You can follow me on Twitter at the Hoots Podcast. You can check out Brett Carter as well at Derek Stoughton. Check out DerekStoughton.com. Support his work at WrestlingRumors.net. You can see my wrestling work at ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast every day. Podcast run comes to you free of charge every single week. And leave us a 4 or 5 star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps expand and reach the show. And for those who are watching or listening to the podcast on YouTube, do us a favor and let us know what are you looking forward to on this weekend. What show has your interest the most? Clash of the Castle or All Out? Let us know what's your predictions for the show, and love to hear you guys' thoughts on the podcast this week. So, for Brother Carter, I'm Joshie. This has been episode 325 of the Hoots Podcast. Now I'm going to send it off to Brother Carter for this week's edition of the Thoughts of Dericho. I'm Joshie. I love you guys. We'll talk to y'all next week. Yes, sir.
And now, the Thoughts of Dericho. Listen well, man.
Welcome, one and all, to the segment that you can listen to anywhere in the world. It is the Thoughts of Dericho, featuring the one, the only, Brother Carter. Well, this week's episode of the Thoughts of Dericho is going to be very brief, as I'm just going to share my predictions. For the pay-per-views that we have coming up this weekend. Should be a great weekend of professional wrestling, and then All Out. So, let's start with the Worlds Collide pay-per-view, effectively ending the NXT UK brand and unifying a lot of titles in NXT and NXT UK. I know that Josh is sad about that because of just how much he enjoyed NXT UK, and I certainly understand that. But you know, business is business, pal, and so it's just part of it, I guess. And we'll see what they do with NXT Europe, and that should be really good. But so I'm just going to give some quick predictions, and then we'll get into the Clash at the Castle pay-per-view here in just a moment. So, and I'm reading these off of WWE.com. Ricochet is back in NXT, and he's challenging Carmelo Hayes for the NXT North American Championship. This should be a really, really fun match. We know how good Ricochet is. I'm going to take Carmelo Hayes to retain here. No reason to put the title on Ricochet at this point, but great rub for Ricochet, and great for Carmelo Hayes to get to work with somebody as talented as Ricochet. That should be fun. But I've got Carmelo Hayes retaining his championship. Katana Chance and Caden Carter defending the NXT Women's Tag Team titles against Doudrop and Nikki ASH. I hope that this leads to the official split of Doudrop and Nikki ASH. They need to do their own thing. I've got Chance and Carter retaining their championships here. No need to put the titles on Doudrop and Nikki ASH. So, and I think, again, I hope it just leads to their split because that thing has run its course and they need to go do something else. So, I've got Chance and Carter retaining their titles. Fatal 4-way elimination tag team match for the NXT UK and NXT Tag Team Championships. We've got Diamond Mine, Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen, Gallus, and Pretty Deadly as the four teams battling. This should be a war. I think this is going to be incredible. I've got Gallus. I've got Gallus winning the championships and being the new unified NXT Tag Team Championships champions. But I think this is going to be incredible. I know how good these teams are, but I'm going to take Gallus to win these titles there. Let's see, Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose, Mikao Satomura, and Blair Davenport in a triple threat unification match for the NXT and NXT UK Women's Championship. This should be awesome. This is a hard one to pick because Mandy Rose has been incredible since reinvigorating her career in NXT. Maiko, and I hope I'm saying this right. I don't watch a lot of NXT or NXT UK, but I hope I'm saying this right. Maiko Satomura has held her title for 430 days, so this is crazy. And Blair Davenport has been doing some terrific work as well. So I'm going to take Satomura here, and I hope this means a call-up for Mandy Rose up to the main roster. I think she's ready to head back up and have a great feud with Sonya Deville, maybe bring Toxic Attraction with her. Because they looked great on SmackDown before Gigi Dolan got hurt. But I'm going to take Satomura here to unify the titles and become your new NXT Women's Champion. And then finally, in the main event, Braun Breaker and Tyler Bate in the NXT Championship unification match with him and UK Champion Tyler Bate. This is going to be unbelievable. Tyler Bate, I've seen him wrestle multiple times, and he's amazing. And we all know how good Braun Breaker is. So this is going to be amazing. This one's hard. I'm going to take Braun Breaker to retain, but I say that with some hesitancy on this. Because Tyler Bate could easily come in and become the new face of NXT. He's that good. But I'm going to take Braun Breaker to retain here. But again, I say that with some hesitancy. This is going to be a great card on Sunday afternoon. And I definitely encourage you to check that out. But that is going to be preceded by Clash at the Castle. Pay-per-view, the first major stadium event in 30 years in the UK. Historic moment for them with some historic matches on the card. And, well, we'll get into it here in just a moment. But this is going to be awesome. I hope I'll get a chance to check it out. If not, I'll definitely watch the replay on Labor Day or something like that. And I'm reading these matches in reverse order as currently listed on WWE.com. Edge and Rey Mysterio teaming to take on the Judgment Day. I'm going to take the Judgment Day to get the win here. Eventually, this is where I think Dominic turns. I know we keep saying that the Dominic turn is going to happen, and I predict it's going to happen. So I'm going to keep predicting it until it does actually happen. But I've got the Judgment Day winning against Edge and Rey Mysterio. By the way, the Edge and Rey Kurt Angle bit on Raw was hilarious this week. That was so great. Edge getting Kurt Angle again with the signs. That was awesome. That was so funny. I love that. In a match that might steal the show, Gunther defending the Intercontinental Championship against Sheamus. This is probably the match I'm most looking forward to besides the main event. I've got Gunther retaining here. I think he's doing incredible work, and Sheamus is going to bring out the best in him. I can't wait for that. That's going to be unbelievable. And I've got Gunther retaining the Intercontinental Championship. Matt Riddle, who I guess goes by Matt Riddle now, or maybe he's just Riddle. I don't know, but they've teased giving him his first name back, which, thank God. They need to do that with him. They need to do that with Austin Theory. But Matt Riddle against Seth freaking Rollins. Now they just need to get rid of the freaking and we'll be in good shape. Boy. I'm going to take Seth Rollins here, and I think that because I think Rollins is going to eventually be the next challenger for the Undisputed Championship. But I've got Seth Rollins winning here, but what a promo that they had on Monday. Good stuff. Him talking about, Riddle's wife leaving him, that was crazy. So, crazy promo on Raw on Monday. But, I've got Seth Rollins winning that match. Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka versus Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. I got the faces getting the win here.
Sorry.
Bianca, Alexa... Yeah, there goes my smart speaker device again as I was recording. Bianca Belair, Miss Bliss, and Asuka against Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. I'm taking the faces to get the win here. This should be a fun match. I love what Dakota Kai, Io Sky, and Bayley are doing. That's great. But I've got the faces getting the win here and what should be a very fun match. SmackDown Women's Champion Liv Morgan against Shayna Baszler. I'm gonna take Liv Morgan here. I don't think it's quite time for them to take the title off of her, but I am so happy that Shayna Baszler is getting a chance to show what she can do. I wouldn't be surprised if they put the title on Shayna at this point, but I think they've got to hold out just a little bit longer and let Liv Morgan do a little bit more. Maybe get a little bit more of a heel side of her going, a little bit more aggressive side of her, so she can be a main event player. But I've got Liv Morgan retaining, with potentially a return of the Queen. If not in England, then definitely on SmackDown this week. And now the main event. Our tribal chief, the head of the table, the man, the big dog, who has just celebrated his 2-year anniversary. That's 2 years he's held the Universal Championship. Roman Reigns defending against Drew McIntyre. And for the first time since his run, I have doubts about who's going to win this match. There's a lot of factors in play here. Karrion Kross, Sami Zayn, the Usos, which they might not make it because they weren't let into Canada, so there's no way to tell that the Usos might even be there because of visa issues and stuff like that. You just never know. Boy, I go back and forth on this. I've gone back and forth on this for 2 weeks. I'm gonna take Roman Reigns here, but don't be surprised if Drew McIntyre gets his Mania moment in front of 90,000 fans and wins the Undisputed Universal Champion. This is the first time where I really am not confident in my prediction in Roman Reigns. I think they need to wait to put the title on Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania or get it off at some point. But this would be an incredible moment for a UK superstar in Drew McIntyre. So I'm going to take Roman Reigns here, but what a moment it'll be if Drew McIntyre wins the title. Part of me hopes I'm wrong just for the moment, but I can't doubt what the Tribal Chief is capable of. I'm going to take Roman Reigns, but I say that with a lot of hesitancy as well. Either way, this is going to be an amazing show, a fun show. I can't wait to see it, and I can't wait for all of you to enjoy it as well. And those are my predictions for this weekend, and those are the Thoughts of Dericho for this week. Sorry I had to be with you via satellite. I hope to be back live with you next week. My final thought for the week is enjoy wrestling. Enjoy this weekend of professional wrestling. Like I said, we have some great cards on the we have some great cards happening, as well as All Out. And that's all I'm going to say about that. And once again, what the hell is wrong with AEW? Because fuck AEW.
This has been the Thoughts of Dericho. You're smarter now, man.